A U.S. Navy pilot was in an unprecedented situation on a seemingly routine mission over the South China Sea. What began as a standard patrol flight took a sharp turn, leading to an emergency landing that has captivated the world. How did a U.S. pilot end up on a Chinese aircraft carrier, and what were the circumstances surrounding this dramatic event? The skies over the South China Sea have long been a tension between the United States and China, with both nations conducting frequent military operations in the area. Amid this backdrop, a mechanical failure aboard a U.S. Navy fighter jet resulted in a scenario few could have anticipated. The pilot was forced to make a split-second decision that would place them on a Chinese vessel. This emergency landing wasn't just a story of technical difficulties, it was a moment laden with political and military implications. As the jet descended toward the unfamiliar deck of a Chinese carrier, international relations were tested in a real-world scenario. What led to this tense encounter, and what was the outcome? The mission was clear: a routine reconnaissance flight aimed at monitoring maritime activities in a contested region. The U.S. Navy has long patrolled these waters to assert freedom of navigation, a policy often met with resistance from China. But on this particular flight, something went drastically wrong. Mid-flight, the pilot experienced a critical engine malfunction, a rare but dangerous occurrence in military aviation. With limited options and the nearest U.S. aircraft carrier miles away, the pilot faced a dire choice: attempt a risky return or seek the nearest available landing site, which, in this case, was a Chinese carrier. The decision to land on a foreign military vessel is not taken lightly. It involves a complex calculus of risk, international protocol, and survival. The pilot's quick thinking and adherence to emergency protocols averted a potential disaster, but the repercussions of this landing were far from over. For the pilot, the moments leading up to the emergency landing were filled with intense pressure. Communication with the Chinese carrier was established quickly, a rare instance of cooperation between two military forces often seen as adversaries. The pilot had to rely on their training and trust in a foreign crew to ensure a safe landing. After touching down, the pilot was received cautiously but respectfully by the Chinese crew. This moment of unexpected diplomacy highlighted the human element in military operations, where the focus shifts from national rivalry to ensuring the safety and well-being of a fellow aviator. Once safely aboard, the pilot underwent a series of debriefings and checks. Meanwhile, diplomatic channels buzzed with urgency as both nations sought to manage the situation carefully. The focus was on maintaining composure and avoiding any escalation that could arise from such an unusual event. News of the landing quickly spread, raising eyebrows and questions worldwide. How would the U.S. respond to one of its pilots being on a Chinese vessel? How would China handle having a foreign military member on their ship? Both governments worked swiftly to address these concerns. In the immediate aftermath, the Chinese military assured the safe return of the pilot to U.S. forces. This gesture was seen as a rare moment of cooperation and possibly a step toward reducing tensions in the region. However, it also highlighted the precarious nature of military engagements in contested areas. The U.S. Navy expressed gratitude for the safe handling of their pilot, but remained firm in its stance on freedom of navigation operations. This incident was not just a diplomatic test, but also a reminder of the unpredictable nature of military operations in high-tension zones. The emergency landing sparked a flurry of diplomatic activity. Analysts speculated on what this meant for U.S.-China relations, particularly in the context of military engagements in the South China Sea. Some viewed it as an opportunity for increased dialogue, while others feared it could exacerbate existing tensions. The incident underscored the thin line between routine operations and international incidents. It also highlighted the need for clear communication channels and protocols to handle unexpected encounters. Both nations faced the challenge of turning a potentially volatile situation into a learning moment. In military and diplomatic circles, the event became a case study in crisis management. How two rival powers handled a moment of vulnerability could set a precedent for future interactions, potentially paving the way for better understanding and cooperation, or further mistrust and division. After days of diplomatic negotiations, the pilot was returned to U.S. forces without incident. This smooth handover was a relief to many, but also left questions about what had transpired during those tense hours on the Chinese carrier. The pilot's debriefing provided crucial insights into the experience. While the mechanical failure was the immediate cause of the emergency landing, the broader implications for military protocol and international relations were equally significant. The pilot's safe return was celebrated, but the incident left a lasting impact on military strategies and the policies governing operations in contested regions. It served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of military engagements and the importance of preparedness. The emergency landing highlighted several key lessons for military operations. First, it highlighted the importance of robust communication channels between potential adversaries to handle emergencies. Second, it highlighted the critical need for contingency planning in high-stakes environments. Military analysts emphasized the need for ongoing dialogue and exercises to manage similar situations in the future. The incident became a catalyst for discussions on how to improve safety and cooperation in contested areas, even amid geopolitical tensions. The event also spurred discussions on the reliability and maintenance of military equipment. Ensuring that aircraft are in top condition is paramount, especially when operating in regions where the margin for error is minimal. As both nations reflect on the incident, the focus has shifted to what comes next. Will this event lead to better communication and cooperation, or will it become another point of contention in an already strained relationship? For the U.S. Navy, the incident was a stark reminder of the complexities of operating in contested waters. For China, it was an opportunity to demonstrate restraint and professionalism in a high-pressure situation. Both sides now face the challenge of navigating the aftermath. This emergency landing will likely be remembered as a moment when the unexpected forced two military powers to confront their differences in the most human way possible, by ensuring the safety of a pilot in distress. The lessons learned from this incident will resonate in military and diplomatic circles for years to come.